Scotty-O and Brent P. Oh, what a sight! Live from Shoptoberfest, it's pure delight. Talk Commerce meets always off-brand, the biggest collab. Hand in hand. Sponsored by Shopware, fresh and grand. E-commerce insights, we take a stand. Music's alive, feel the band. Shoptoberfest vibes across the land.
Hi, everybody. It's Scott Ohsman from the podcast Always Off Brand. And if you're wondering, I'm listening to Talk Commerce, why am I hearing some guy from another podcast? It's because Brent, Peterson, and I, well, we recorded these together. And the one you're about to hear was recorded in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn over there at Shoptoberfest, presented by Shopware. And it's a doozy of an interview. Not only do we have the president of January Digital, Sarah Engel, who was one of the TED Talk speakers. I mean, humble brag. But we also have Danielle Kurtz, who comes in, who's the senior marketing manager at January Digital, which is hard to say, January Digital, for me. Anyway, I'm going to get out of the way now because you're going to hear a great episode. It's Talk Commerce right here and Always Off Brand at Shoptoberfest. Brought to you by Shopware. All right, welcome to Shoptoberfest, brought to you by
Shopware.
Thank you, everyone. Scott Ohsman and Brent Peterson here from Talk Commerce, and I'm from Always Off Brand. We're dual thing. This is a merge. What is this? This is a collab. Is this a collab?
Collab.
Collaboration.
Yes.
Now, one of the people you're about to hear actually spoke at this event, and she's, boy, woof. Are you nervous? Because I'm
really
a little
big
nervous. I'm kind of nervous. I'm not going to lie. Sarah Engel from January Digital here. Sarah, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to turn your mic up. That would probably help. We should
right.
probably, professionals actually do mic checks before we hit record. Now we can hear you, Sarah.
All
Say
right.
hello again.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Good to see you.
Are you, though, really glad
I am
to be here?
thrilled. Couldn't be more happy.
Brent's questioning everything at this juncture.
I
There
only
is another.
question Scott.
I have 4 microphones. You've heard 3 people. There is a 4th human sitting here, but
Surprise guest.
her mic is only on if she wants to.
I'm here for sound effects. I'm here for emotional support.
There
I'm
you
here
go.
for whatever you need.
Okay, fantastic.
Danielle Kurtz.
Danielle Kurtz, everybody.
Woo!
So, Sarah, you just gave a big keynote. You were one of our TED Talks here at Shoptoberfest. We missed it. I'm just going to be honest. We basically missed. I don't know what it's.
I've overscheduled.
I don't know what the name of it was. I don't know what you talked about. But for those listening and couldn't be here at this fantastic event, Shoptoberfest, brought to you by.
Shopware.
What did you talk about?
Again.
What were the big?
I feel like you had your priorities straight, having beer. It's a beer hall.
It
like
is
I
a
feel
beer
like
hall.
you were doing what you were supposed
Thank
to
you.
do.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, yeah, Jason, the president, and Matt Carver, the nicest guy in the business, asked me to come and just talk about some of the challenges in retail and e-commerce right now.
No,
So,
there's no
nothing.
challenges.
Nope, it's not hard at all.
Go ahead.
So that's what we were talking about, and I just kind of gave them some backstory about. I've spent about half my career on the brand side, and then at January Digital and January Consulting, we work with a ton of brands,
Yeah.
a lot of fashion, a lot of beauty, some CPG, and so we're just having conversations constantly with retailers and brands about what they're challenged with, kind of helping them through that process. And so was just talking through, kind of hearkening back to, I was thinking about November 2020 when I was on the brand side and stores are closed and everything is so complex and everybody's doing whatever they can to protect the distribution center. It's like, at one point the corporate employees just were so held in high esteem, all of a sudden it's like, go home, don't touch the distribution center.
Yeah.
Everybody protected at all costs. And then FedEx stopped picking up. We're in November of 2020. We're in the holiday season. FedEx stops picking up. They're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
UPS stops picking up. They're overwhelmed.
Those
USPS.
are dark times.
It was dark times. And it took me, though, a few days before I lifted my head up and I was like, wait a minute. I'm going to call my friend Mike Africa. Shout out to Mike Africa. He was at Eddie Bauer at the time. He's at Leslie's Pool now. Called him, was like, man, are you having this problem? He's like, yeah, we're having this problem. This is what we're doing. I start calling around, all my colleagues, everybody's having the same problem.
Yes.
And I think that's the big takeaway, was like that moment. I always think back about that moment where I finally lifted my head up and was like, everybody's challenged with this. It is not just me. I find that in most of our conversations with executives right now, it is still it can be a very lonely and isolating industry. You think you're the only one who hasn't figured something out, and the reality is it is so challenging for everybody right now.
Yes.
So that's what we were talking about in some of the biggest challenges that we're seeing right now, and I kind of went into 3 or 4 of those challenges.
Do you think that that 2020...
I'm sorry, Brent, that's Brent Peterson you're listening to right
Brent
now.
Peterson.
Brent Peterson, everybody, from Ecommerce.
Sponsored by Shopware.
Shepherd by Sponsored by. Go ahead.
So 2020 could have been a slow burn. We could have slowly gotten to it, right? Do you think that it was just a jolt that happened that forced everybody to get over a threshold that was going to happen inevitably no matter what? Or do you think it happened and it wasn't going to happen because...
That's such a good question.
Don't give him compliments, Sarah. Don't.
I picked the wrong side.
No.
I'm hitting the boo button, the no button. I'm hitting everything.
Oh my gosh.
Do not compliment
question.
Brent
Fantastic
on the. Oh
question.
my gosh! I thought
He's going to turn my mic down.
Lord, I am actually. Engineer Scotty could come and play here. Go ahead, answer that great question. Nice
What's
job
a
out of
great
you.
question?
I'm going to lean into Brent Peterson. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness, I'm trying. So I think there are various things that happened during that time, some of which would have happened over time. Customers' demands for free shipping, like those things. There were a lot of those types of things that were happening anyway. The type of technology stack you had. Would we have all of a sudden within 3 weeks spun up curbside pickup? And would you have pushed so far forward that quickly? I don't think so. I think some of those elements we had to solve it overnight. Now, I think what's more interesting now, fast forward, and that's what we were talking about, current state today, you fast forward and so many brands stacked so many, they were like, the customer has to have this, curbside and free shipping and you're stacking and all of a sudden your margin just tanks, right? And so it took us a couple years here to even that out, and I think people are still trying to even that out. What does my customer want? Not because it's what the industry says, not because it's what my competitors are doing. What does my customer want? Does she need 40% off and free shipping? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe she wants something else, right? And so I think that's kind of the phase we're in. But yeah, it sped up many things that were a slow burn. We needed to do it, but we weren't really getting after it, right?
Yeah.
And the brands who had gotten after it were so much farther ahead, right? So I think, a lot of lessons learned in that regard.
Well,
even remote work. Like so many brands, like nobody's ever going to work at home.
Well, I blame Zappos for all of our problems. Because Zappos was the first one on a large scale to actually say, no, we will send you product and you put it in this little thing and we will make it really easy for you to return it.
That's right.
So that's the root cause. And then as I was in these huge joint business, they used to call them annual vendor negotiations in Amazon with these big brands. And by the way, the pounding you're hearing is not a horde of buffaloes coming. It's just we're on a big long table here at the brew hall. And when people hit the table, you hear it. Just listeners, just go with it, embrace it like we have. Brent, stop finally hitting the table purposely.
Dance along.
Yeah.
Do what
My
you gotta
whole
do.
point is, they decided to get everybody Prime 2 days free shipping. That wasn't the brand. That wasn't the manufacturer. Nobody put a gun to their head and said, "Oh yeah, no matter what the cost, the size, doesn't matter. Just get it to them in 2 days for free." And then they turn back on the manufacturers and the brands and say, "Yeah, you know what? We can't afford that." And I'm like, "Well, no, it wasn't my decision. Why should I pay for it?" So this is what happened with COVID, right? E-commerce boomed, and a lot of the traditional expectation that the consumer had, I think they're spoiled rotten. Sarah, what do you think of that? They're spoiled rotten. I think we should pull it back, and Temu's doing it, and Shein's doing it, and now Amazon's doing it with direct manufacturing. You know what? Wait. If you're going to buy that 90% off, wait for it for 2 weeks. What do you think, Sarah?
Buy that 90% off later, Ohsman.
Yeah,
Who would ever
which
do
our
that?
friend right down the road, Rick Watson, did.
That's amazing.
Shout out Rick Watson.
That's really amazing.
Everybody drink
well,
Rick
first of all, I
Watson.
feel like I need to defend Tony Hsieh. Like, I think they did something in the industry that
yeah.
had not been done before. So I'm going
100%.
to go ahead and give him and Ray a shout out.
That is true.
They listened to their customers and they said, forget the way we've always done it. Let's do something different.
To be honest,
then everybody just followed along and didn't come up with what their customers wanted.
And I think we all agree. I say that, but the reality, it was magical.
It was.
It was so good. It was amazing. I did it all the time. I've got a shoe problem. Have I told you that, Brent? No. Anyway, Sarah, back to. So what are the 3 or 4 things
I don't know
that?
the customers are spoiled. I'm going back to your customers are spoiled conversation. I think that we've trained them.
Yeah.
What to expect, and we've told them that, oh, just wait for it. We're going to go on promotion next month. Oh, we're going to be on promotion every second Wednesday. Like we've trained them to do that. We've trained them to buy 3 sizes because we don't have great fit on our sites.
100%.
We've trained them to buy 3 sizes and to send 2 back, right? Like we've trained them to do that, and so untraining or having a different conversation, I'll say, with your customer is hard work, and it takes a lot of time. We were talking in the room in there about in my presentation that you missed during beer. We were talking about,
See, now she's in.
We're gonna watch it. Again.
Now she's getting the hang of the show. Now she's giving me shit, which is exactly what she should be doing because that's how we roll here. I love it, Sarah.
oh my gosh,
It's
we were
fantastic.
talking about promotions though, promotions, discounts, and
Yeah.
just the like promotional drug that the whole industry is on. And I've worked with so many brands. I've done it myself on the brand side. I've worked with so many brands over the past year even who are trying to pull back on that, who are trying to talk. But it all comes from a point of customer understanding. Like, what does she really want? He really want? What does my customer actually care about? Because they might care about sampling. They might care about early access. They might care about getting loyalty points that they're going to turn in for something they actually want and care about. But what you've trained them to do is just wait for the sale, wait for the sale, wait for the sale.
Yeah.
And you've used channels like email, which had so much power in the past, to do nothing but just bombard people mass blast with promotions. And so you've lost effectiveness there. So a lot of your owned channels have lost effectiveness. So I think that it absolutely can be solved. We've solved it, many times, but I will say it takes about 18 months. It takes a lot of like senior level. We're in 2025 planning right now.
Yeah.
Sit with your team and go, how many days were we on promo in 24? How many days are we willing to accept in 25? And it literally, you have to sit with your calendar and be like, okay, Labor Day sale was this long, we're going to cut it back one day. Like, it's painstaking, but you got to go through that process if you actually want to like elevate the understanding of your customer of the worth of your brand, and if you want to protect margin, like you've got to go through it.
How do you feel about no promotions? So I did a little CTO gig where the company
CTO, what is that? Chief
Whatever.
Teacher?
where there was the company did absolutely no promotions. They did
It's
not
a full,
believe
let's
in
call it a
sales at
full
all.
price brand. That's what we call a full
Regular.
price brand.
Or a discount price, as J.C. Penney's did. They did 40%
Well,
off
then-
all the time, right?
Then they, yeah, that's a
And it
whole
kinda
nother.
tanked it, but
Go ahead.
there's a difference between somebody waiting for the sale and then somebody not knowing when the sale is going to happen, right? That's the whole point of a sale. Like, oh, it's a surprise.
Yes.
That's it. Nordstrom did a great job. Anniversary sale twice a year. It was you kind of live for it.
That's right. The surprise and delight. I mean, you've even seen there's some great ways to go about that when you are trying to curb promotions and trying to make it this like exciting moment. Use your social media in that regard. I've even done the thing where you gate beforehand. You go, this special exciting thing is coming, and you gate it beforehand, and you're doing email collection, and you launch it to them, and it's this big exciting moment rather than like, it's another Wednesday and there's another sale. Like, got to like go through that process to be willing to like retrain your internal team too, right? Like you can't always pull the promo lever and expect a different result.
Right, because at some point the promo is not a promo, it's just your price.
Right. Just how much it costs.
It's one of my favorite sound effects of all
That's a good
time.
one. What's the Yiddish for that?
Oi, oi, oi vey. But promotional, I mean, if you go back to the history of retail, I've been in retail a long time. And I love the fact that you were at brand and now you're on the other side. You can call either side the dark side, whatever. I've been kidding about that. I was on brand. I was in agency for a while, then I went to brand, then I went back to agency, but no one really cares about that. Anywho, what I was going about was the fact
great
that...
story.
Thank you. Great story. Edit. The point is, the United States of America, okay, has been conditioned, to your whole point, right? We've been conditioned to a sale. I called on the great country of Canada and a lot of retailers in Canada and a lot of retailers in Europe. That's not how they rolled. They were full price. They didn't have to be on sale every 5 minutes to get the sale. Now that hay's out of the barn. We've infected the rest of the country, and I call it the lazy lever. The problem here, let's just talk real stuff, okay? The problem is that you got to hit a number. The reason we have promotional overkill is because corporate America has to hit a number. That's the truth, is it not, Sarah?
Because we're still measuring on comps, which
Yes.
is about the bluntest way to go about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not to fault any of the people putting the promotions in place. They're doing their jobs. the quarter's off, this, the board, whatever it is, they have to hit it. So and now we're conditioned to it. And the funniest thing is 20% isn't enough anymore. People are really having a good time with their beers, putting them up, putting them down, putting them up, putting them down.
Sarah, tell us.
Sarah, but that was
three.
Was there a question in there, Brent?
I said it. No, I don't know if you've had a question.
Did I have a question? Did I have a great question? No. Don't think I'm not counting because I am. You have 1, I have 0.
Tell us, give us the 10,000-foot view of your talk.
Oh my goodness.
You mentioned 3 points.
She said
right?
3 points.
I did say
We're
3
not
points.
listening.
All 3.
So the point was, what are if those were the challenges during COVID, what are the challenges right now? And I could come up with 6 or 7, but I had time for 3. One is certainly rising cost of business, right? And so, I talked to a board member recently, and they said money's not free anymore. Everything requires scrutiny, everything. And to our conversation we had earlier about that kind of downswing after COVID when you threw so much at the business that was going to impact your margin. So it's like, all right, that you have to have a strong business case. The good news is, which I almost always can find a silver lining in almost anything, but the good news is your competitors have the same price constraints. They have the same challenges. They have the same inflation. They have the same wage hikes, right? All of those things are the same. I think that's one good thing. The other good thing is that I think people are getting really creative with it. I'm seeing new products and new categories and new promotions and new collaborations. And I pointed to our friends over at Crocs, like the Taco Bell Crocs. Who would have thought that needed to happen? And yet they sold out, right? And so like the creativity, I think, is higher than it's ever been, but it's coming from a place of pressure. So that was one of the points that we spoke to. One of the other points we spoke to is just the changing demands of customers. And I will shout out my mom who lives in rural Texas, and she will often be shopping with one of her favorite brands, and she's like, why can't they get it to me tomorrow? Amazon can, right? That is the reality, right? If Amazon can get it here the next day or 2 days out, why can my favorite brands not do that? And
Danielle, that'd be a perfect wah-wah.
Wah-wah.
It's also changed it for the mom and pop, right?
Yeah.
My sister owns a little, meat processing facility where they sell beef sticks.
A little meat processing plant. What?
And they always compete again. They're always like, no, I can't get free shipping. You have to get free shipping.
Right.
That's where the industry's at.
But you
Price
gotta-
your product for free shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked through that. We talked through the shipping constraints, the promotional challenges, and I think there are interesting things coming out of that, but it's taking a long time to undo, right? And so it's like to your question earlier, you did have a good question.
Did I?
It wasn't great, but it was good.
I'm blushing.
Which was, then are they just going to expect more and more and more and more?
Yeah.
And I think that as we're heading into holiday right now, there is a tipping point in that process. So it's like, at the beginning of the season, people are early shopping and they might be looking for that promo. You get further on in the season and all of a sudden shipping and getting things on time is a lot more important than the price. And so, building literally day by day, week by week calendars is very helpful during the holiday season to be able to, so you're not only having a promotional lever. The other thing I was going to say though is I think the complexity of promotions, some of that is we're just trying to comp, which is crazy that that the business is still running that way. And I do believe strongly in having much deeper KPIs and just starting to retrain organizations and even board members to be able to speak that language. That said, there are also a lot of inventory challenges that are leading to that, right? So it's the planning mechanism, the inventory challenges that lead to that, the wholesale distribution. Everybody's trying to figure out right now what worked in the past doesn't work this year, and it doesn't matter whether it's Nordstrom or Sephora or whomever, everybody's really challenged with that this year. So I would just say that's some of the other complexities I think that are leading to a lot of discounting, but that is my side note.
Aren't we discounted? Again, I'm not trying to be contrarian or
but I think
whatever.
there's
I just met poor Sarah. She's like, why is he arguing with me? But I'm saying, my jaded view, which is, aren't we always over discounted? Aren't we always, just going to the mat? It's holiday. The traffic it's incredible. This is you make it or break it for a lot of brands, for a lot of manufacturers.
Yeah, but to your point about full price brands, I've worked with a few who really held the line. Even then, they would sometimes have a the dirty secrets. The like, we'll do it online and only a sale tab, but we won't do it in store because the store is protected. But like, they made it into an event, right? They made it into something fun and exciting, but it's rare.
And there's a difference between discounting and then always having as a discount or discounting before or discounting after because you have too much inventory, right? I think there's a difference in that. You want to get rid of it versus
taking marks
I'm going to mark it down because I want to sell more of it.
Right.
Sarah, but the other element, get ready for a sound effect. I don't know which one you're going to get ready for, Danielle, but competitive set has changed so dramatically, and a lot of times brands, Sarah, I'm going to ask you this now, you're in the January, we got to talk about January also with some of your clients or whatever, but what happens is the competitive set, even if I'm a full price brand and I haven't had to go to a promotional discount and everything else, the competitive set is getting so dicey, you kind of are forced to whether you want to or not. Do you think that's something, is that we're making too big a deal of that, or do you see that a broad brush across all categories?
I think, and Danielle, you actually wrote an article about this recently, but I think Gen Z is definitely of that perspective of somebody's going to do that offer, somebody's going to, discovering so many brands in a social media context, so many offers that are available, so the loyalty is not there in the same way. The loyalty is there when they're aligned from a values perspective.
Yeah.
When they're, there's a deeper alignment. But I think that's probably one of the biggest groups that's saying, yeah, if you're going to offer me a better deal or a sampling opportunity, I'm going to go down that path. But I don't know, you might have some more to share on that, Danielle.
I am a Gen Z spokesperson.
Yeah, my daughters are as well.
And I will say, it's true. I will shop by price unless there's a value that I really find myself aligning with, and I will go that route. But otherwise, it's really hard to convince me with any other factor. But price.
So will you pay more for something that's important to you?
I would say so, but I'd really have to be convinced. Not in my casual browsing, not when I'm needing something last minute, but if something is repeatedly hitting me over the head and I'm like, okay, I can get on board with this.
Yeah.
The other big thing that we talk about a lot is just the reality of advertising. It's just keeping up with the Joneses. And I'll ask
And the
Danielle.
channels for advertising.
Yeah. Now retail media is going to be $18 billion. It's basically Amazon today, ladies and gentlemen. I've said that 1,000 times on the show. Everyone wants to talk about retail media. 80-some% is Amazon.com. Today.
Yeah.
It's going to
and
change.
Amazon spoils it for everybody because they started the 2-day shipping. They these things.
Right. And they've shown the world that you can make the highest margin in your business on selling advertising.
Yes.
And so everybody's like, hey, that sounds cool. But let me ask Danielle just quickly, how do you feel about all the ads that you see and just you're getting hit nonstop on your phone with ads and everything else? Or how do you feel about that?
You know what? If it's organically coming to me and it matches the content that I'm viewing and I'm being served something that's interesting to me and it flows in my feed, I'm not really bothered by it. It's when something really disrupts my browsing or viewing experience that's what I'm like, okay, I gotta get out of here.
Like a mobile pop-up.
Yes.
The most annoying thing. Like,
Unbelievable.
I'm going to buy this right now. Pop!
Yeah, we got to just ban those.
Yes.
Can you just ban those, Brent? Can you
It has
make
to
a
happen
call?
in Seattle.
Can you make a call?
Yeah, I'll make a call.
But Gen Z also values authenticity. So
Yes.
if a brand is serving me something that is authentic to them, that I'm authentically connecting with, it's an influencer unboxing video that I would watch organically, that is what's resonating with me.
I'm constantly hearing from my daughters who are 27 and 25, oh, I'm following this person. Oh, even my wife, oh, I'm following this person, XYZ. I looked at this recipe, whatever. I went to a coffee shop in Boston last month. Brent was there at Detail. I went to Greystone Coffee Shop because my daughter said I follow a person and I'm a coffee snob and you got to go to this place. Literally.
Yeah, guilty.
That's the power.
You were influenced by way of Gen Z. That's right. And they have a huge influence on the two generations above them.
Yes, and I'm big
Skinny
into.
jeans,
I think generational psychology is fascinating to me. But Sarah, as we get you out of here on this, as you can't wait to get out of here. I mean, listener, you can't see it, but she's just like, God.
Most fun I've had all day.
Okay, talk about January. What do you guys do?
Yeah.
Who do you do it for? What's happening?
Sure. So January Digital, right? We're a digital agency, tend to be the digital agency of record. So we're running, full funnel marketing for a lot of amazing brands, folks like Carhartt and Kendra Scott and Interstate Batteries, and a lot of beauty, a lot of fashion, and some CPG. So that is the agency side of our business. We also have January Consulting, the consulting side of our business. They're all former brand folks, like I am, from a wide array, like phenomenal backgrounds, some merchants, some marketers, some e-com folks. And so I think we really position ourselves as a marketing leadership company. So as opposed to, you won't see us only doing paid search. You will see us really getting deeply involved in a client's business. So we usually are having those conversations directly with the CEO, CMO, sometimes founders. What are the business challenges? How do we get after that? What are those KPIs to the conversation we just had? How do we relook at our business? What should the data look like? We have a phenomenal data and analytics team. And then we go about that from a strategic point of view. So our consulting crew will come in and do anything from, hey, we'll do this leadership assessment. Where do you fall in the marketplace? What's your competitive set? To, major shifts in people's businesses, major digital transformation efforts, those types of things. And then our agency team, is phenomenal at every element of the funnel. And so they're, saying, okay, these are your business goals. You don't care if you sit down, and I think about this a lot, having been on the brand side, where you say, somebody sits down, you have one paid search person and one social and they sit down and go, paid search looks so great, Google looked great. And I'm like, my business is down 15%.
Right.
Read the room. And so we very much set out to build a different organization that understood business at a much deeper level. So that's what we're focused on.
Yeah, we could keep going. I have so many more questions. we can't, but yeah.
But
really
I
all
won't.
good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Thank you
Yes,
for coming.
thank you so
It's
much.
great to meet you. You did great on not only the sound effects, but also the Gen Z representative here.
Oh, I'm a jack of all trades.
Yeah, you are.
Outstanding. All right,
Thank you,
Sarah
guys.
Engel,
Thanks for having
January
us.
Digital, fantastic job. We will talk to you next time. What?
We're here at Shoptoberfest, sponsored by
Shopware.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis, LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.